Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV. I hope you're well, hope you're having a good week. Of course, first of all, I need to say a big thank you to Chris Horn for last week's show. That Easter basket was amazing, and those Easter eggs that float as if just by magic, they were amazing. So Chris and Jacob, who was the other side of the camera, thank you so much to you guys for doing last week's show. And I do have to say a thank you to both of you again for accepting the challenge that I laid down the other week. So obviously I said to Chris Horn publicly on BMTV, I laid down the challenge to create something with a new anagram alligator skin orbs balloon. And I don't know how pleased he was, but he did it, and here it is. Here's the result. So both of you, Chris and Jacob, I know it was a team effort. Thank you so much for doing that. And you've come up with a swamp thing, a swamp party. Do you remember Swamp Thing? That song in the late 90s. I believe it was 1998, Swamp Thing by, can't remember the name. Oh, I can't remember the name. That's very frustrating. Anyway, I quite enjoyed it. But yeah, a swamp party is apparently a thing, Chris found out. So must be in Florida and in the South in the States. So if any of you out there are watching and you've had a swamp party, please send me some pictures. I'm just really intrigued. So I'll put them on BMTV and everything, wherever you are in the world. I don't care. But Chris, Jacob, thank you so much. Chris, I'm sorry. I'll give you a bit. I was just in the moment. I was just going with the flow. It was just quite exciting, and I thought it'd be a fun thing to do, so I apologise for putting any pressure on you on top of your current workload. But thank you so much for accepting that challenge. I think you did very, very well. Now, we've had a few questions. A lot of people, we're in this situation, we've got a backlog, it's slow to get your orders from us. It's not a situation that we like being in. And I know we've got quite a lot of new customers as well that might not be familiar with the way it used to be before COVID, when we were getting things out right up until 3 o'clock. You could order up until 3 o'clock for same day dispatch. We did get to that just before Christmas, but then of course lockdown was announced and it all went a little bit crazy. So we keep getting a few questions from customers on the phone, on email, live chat. So I thought it was a good opportunity to answer some of those questions. So let me get my glasses. Now the first one, why do we still have a backlog? Well, we have a backlog because our industry, thankfully, has, in the UK at least, has done quite well during this last year. And I think it's because, particularly during lockdowns, when we're in lockdown, the shops are shut, and people might normally go to Card Factory to get a balloon or something like that, and that's just not happening. So customers are ending up discovering the world of balloon decorators and contacting their local balloon decorators and asking for things to celebrate birthdays or anything else. And of course that means that you guys out there are busier and you order from us, which means we are busier. Combined with shortages of things like the bubbles that came in a couple of weeks ago, massive demand for those. We had 3.5, nearly 4 days worth of orders come in one day, and that just meant effectively we could still only get out the number of orders we can get out in a day. So we had 4 days or 3 to 4 days worth of orders all of a sudden on top of the backlog as it was. So it does take the number up, and the number of orders that we're able to get out, as I say, remains the same. But it's just really difficult. So that hopefully explains why we do have a backlog. We do everything we possibly can to try and reduce that. And I will come to some of the things that we do because of these other questions. Right, the second one. Why can't you employ more people? Thank you. Yes, we can. And in fact, we have. We have nearly doubled the number of team members here in the last year. So there was 22 of us before COVID, so in February last year. And now, currently, today, there's 43. A lot of those are casual staff, part-time staff, so it's not double the number of full-time staff. But yes, there are 43. I've just done payroll today, 43 people on the payroll. So we have done that. But what's happened, of course, over the year is businesses have continued to be busy And so we've continued to be busier, but get busier. And the number of people doing what it is that we do has increased. We've got more customers, got more people ordering, and so it has gone up. So we've got more people in to deal with it, but the demand has still increased, which is why we are still actually continuing to recruit right now. So yes, thank you for that, employing more people. Are you only dispatching once a week? I wish we were only dispatching once a week. No, we are dispatching every day, Monday to Friday. Other wholesalers send out the same day. Why can't you? See above, really. It's to do with safety. We can only have so many people in the building, which is why, I mean, if we could just get another 40 people or 40 people altogether in the warehouse working at one time, it'd be easy. But the reality is, 40 people in the warehouse that we have just wouldn't work because everybody would be bumping into everybody else. Add COVID into that, it just wouldn't be safe. So we limited it to 20 people in the warehouse at any one time. And even that, I would say, is on the edge of what we feel comfortable doing. So we have had a couple of people leave recently from the warehouse, and we are looking to replace them, but still it does take a while to actually hire other people. If you're not familiar with recruitment, to give you an idea, for every person that we hire, we roughly get 80 to 90 CVs. So you can imagine going through all of those and the time it takes and the time to actually assess people, bring them in for interview and do all of that. It does take quite a while. So, and why other people are sending out the same day, I don't know. I don't know what other people's processes are. I don't know how many orders other people are getting. I really don't know, but you would have to ask them, I guess. Can you please send my order out today? Thank you to everybody that phones up and begs for us to send their order out today if you place it today. I'm afraid we just aren't doing that. We are doing it's just like a queue outside a shop. If you were to, there's a queue of say 500 people outside a shop, you were to go to the front of that queue and you were to pop your head in and say to the shop owner, is it okay if I just pop in and get something? How's that going to make those 500 people feel? And is it the right thing to do? We don't think it's the right thing to do, which is why we are absolutely just taking it in turns. So we're not going to allow anybody to bunny hop over, however many people there are in the queue. We have been accused of having favourites as well on Facebook the other week. It was to do with the bubbles, and I can confirm that we don't. Please feel free to ask any of our regular customers, any of our bigger customers, any of our, if you want to call them favourite people, if we have given them any preferential treatment. The answer is no. So yes, we it's just a queue, that's it. So I do apologise if you phone up, and I know that customers come in late, and I know they come in last minute and just say, please, I need this for the weekend. And you phone us and say, please, it's only a couple of balloons. The thing is, if we're doing an order for you, then somebody else that placed an order 5 days ago might not go out today, and that's just not fair. So I'm really sorry if you phone up or email and beg. I'm just afraid we're not going to be able to do that. What if I pay extra? Well, thank you. You can pay extra, but unfortunately it doesn't allow you to jump the queue. Can I please add to my order? No, not at the moment. And the reason for that is pretty much the same. If somebody in the warehouse is going to your order, picking it out, having to look for it to start with, picking it out, opening it up, putting whatever it is extra that you're ordering in, that takes time, and that could be 1, 2, 3 orders that they could have packed and got ready to go out in that time. So no, we're not allowing any additions to orders. Why are there stock shortages? That is really because of the last year, because of COVID. Obviously, when COVID hit this time last year, or a bit later, depending where you are, what part of the world you're in, it obviously stopped factories. Factories stopped producing. So the likes of Pioneer, Qualitex, they wouldn't have had it in their warehouse. They would have shipped everything they had in their warehouse to the UK, for instance, and the UK would have shipped it to us. We're selling it. Pioneer UK is selling it. Pioneer Europe, sorry. And in the States, it's just all eating into the stock, but no more's coming in. And that's really what's happened. It was always going to take time to balance that out. And I'd say it's still probably going to be another year before that happens. Why can't I pre-order products? We've made the decision not to allow pre-ordering, and the reason is people are normally phoning up about this because of Super Stuffers. Super Stuffers very, 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 very popular at the moment, and I think it's because they're such a good device, such a good tool. So it is a business in a box, as we said. Mark and I said on the video that we did 3-4 years ago. It is really just a business in a box, so it's fantastic. Say we order 50 of those, and we only have 20 coming in. Or come in. We were expecting 50, we have 20 coming in. If we have reserved 50 of those, that's 30 very disappointed customers. So what we do, you've got the email me when available notification, hit that, and then everybody is notified as soon as they are in, and it's just a matter of whoever comes first gets it. Okay, why can't I order more of a product? That refers really to when we're limiting things. Very, very high demand things like Qualitex bubbles, very low supply. So to give you an idea, when we had the bubbles come in a couple of weeks ago, that was roughly 5% of what we have on order. So we have to limit it. It's not fair. I know if we booked 5,000 balloons in, bubbles in, there are a few customers out there that would buy all 5,000 instantly. That's it. They would just go online, just buy 5,000 bubbles, which would not be fair on everybody else. So again, we're just trying to be as fair as possible. So I think we limited the 24-inch to 20 last time, and the 20-inch to 50, I think, maybe, I can't remember. It was something like that. But that's to give as many people as possible out there a chance to go and sell their products to their customers. So it just wouldn't be fair for one. I know some people would say a sale's a sale. Once they're gone, they're gone. But we're trying really to support the industry and more people in the industry than just one or two big people that might be able to spend whatever it would be, many, many thousands of pounds on bubbles. So yes, that's why we limit it, trying to keep it fair again. Can I order helium and collect today? We have seen a massive increase in our helium, our big cylinders, not the disposable helium cylinders, but the big helium cylinders. And people do phone up and say, can I order it and pick it up today from the local BOC depot? It's difficult because the guys in the office, their workload has massively increased over this last year, but the number of people in the office has not increased until today. Actually, this week we had Jenny start, and hopefully in a couple of weeks we're going to have a nice gentleman called Chris start as well. So that should get easier. You might be able to do it on the same day in a few weeks time maybe, but for now we're saying allow 2 days. So if you order on Tuesday, expect to collect it on the Thursday. Mondays are our worst day, by the way. A lot of people order things over the weekend, order helium over the weekend, so it takes the guys in the office a long time to get through all the paperwork that needs to be done, sending it to BOC, and then the agent, phoning the agent, finding out what's available. All of that sort of stuff all has to be done for every single helium order. So yes, Mondays are very hard, so the best thing to do, I mean, if you order on a Thursday, there's a chance you might be able to collect on a Friday, or order on a Wednesday, you might on a Thursday. The guys in the office are going to kill me for saying that, but it might be the case. But we are saying 2 days. Something else that's really, really helpful to the customer service guys, if you want to collect it on a particular day, just make sure on the comment section of your order, you just say, I'd like to collect on whatever day it is or whatever date it is. That would be really helpful. But at the moment, if you phone up and say, any chance I can collect a cylinder today, it's very unlikely. Once again, we've just got to get through all the paperwork that we have to get through in order with which we get it, in which we get it. Why can't I get hold of anybody at balloon markets at the weekend? That is because we're closed at the weekend. We are actually here on Sundays, but some of the team are here on Sundays, but it's in the warehouse, so they are just trying to get ahead of the game. And we're just trying to get more and more things packed and ready to go on the Monday. We made the conscious decision at the beginning of lockdown, before we were able to recruit more people, when we were at the beginning of COVID, last year, we weren't too sure what the situation was, so we didn't hire any more people, and then the business increased, so we needed to get everybody to work more hours. Some people were working an extra 2 hours every single day. Some people were working 7 days a week. Some people were working 6 days a week. and it was hard on everybody. And then when we started hiring people, I intentionally eased it off because I didn't want any one person to be under too much pressure. So that's what we do. I think it's fair to say that COVID has affected everybody's mental health in some way or another. And I think asking people to work 12 hours a day is probably not sensible. If people want overtime, we are offering overtime, but I think the weekend is a very important thing for most people, and therefore we're closed at the weekends. In the future, we might end up being a 7-day-a-week operation, but we're not really there just yet. So that's why nobody's answering your messages or phone calls at the weekend. I want seasonal products. I want a seasonal product that was on the website, but I can't find it now. Now this is when we have, for instance, a Mother's Day balloon. I'll give you an example there. A Mother's Day balloon that you might see at the beginning of the day. You think, okay, I'll order that. And you go back and it's gone. That normally happens when, if it's out of stock, it says 0 on the website, and you can hit the email me when available button. When it's gone from the manufacturer, so say for instance Amscan are out of a product and we know we're not going to get any more in that year, that email me when available, that's going to email you when we get it in next year, which I don't think is what people want. So we take it off the website temporarily until after the Mother's Day in this instance. And then, yeah, it just means nobody can sign up for a notification that's going to do them no good whatsoever. So, yes, it's just so you don't get your hopes up and then get disappointed when you don't get that notification. Mother's Day has been crazy, by the way. So on the day of filming, we are short of, well, we've sold out of most of the Mother's Day balloons. There's still bits and pieces coming in, and there's still a few bubbles, just a few things coming in. But in general, it has absolutely been absolutely bonkers. So yeah, I do apologize. Hopefully next year, I don't know if it's because it's a lockdown thing and more people are celebrating Mother's Day with balloons because they can't go out for meals and whatever on Mother's Day. I don't know, but it's yeah, it's been absolutely bonkers. When is more stock coming in? All the time. It has been, as I said at the beginning, it's the stock coming over. You've got all sorts of things happening. The manufacturers and struggling to get it over, struggling to get it to America, to the UK, to Europe, to wherever. It just means things have slowed down. And now it's starting to come back in. But of course, the factories might be producing fewer products because they've got fewer people working there because of COVID. And so you've got a certain amount of stock that then has to go to the same number of people, really. So I think the manufacturers try and divvy that up as equally as possible, a bit like the way we do it for all our customers as well. But the stock is starting to come in now. Brexit threw a bit of a spanner in the works with containers just sat there for a couple of weeks in ports and things like that. But it is starting to come in now. It's just, I can't answer that question really. We do phone up, if people ask, we do phone up the manufacturers and try and find out an approximate time it's going to come in. If it helps at all, Qualitex, when we're asking them about a lot of products, they are saying April. I don't know if that's the beginning of April, the end of April. It can vary. It might end up being earlier. It might end up being later. So, but we are getting quite a few products that we're told are going to be coming in April. So there must be some containers due in at that time. And the last one I've got here is why did I not get a stock notification for the bubbles? So this is a couple of weeks ago when the bubbles were out of stock and we got some in. And the email notifications go out if you signed up for those. Those of you that bought from us earlier last year and we had bubbles come in would have experienced the website basically just freezing, just completely locking. And that was because the notifications went out to everybody. Everybody jumps on the website and the website couldn't cope with it. We didn't want that to happen again, so what we did was got our web developers to add something that allowed us to send out the notification emails in batches. So a couple of weeks ago when the bubbles came in, we sent them out, I think it was initially in 200s, and then we increased it to 300 because the website was coping fine. However, whilst those are being dispatched, those emails are being dispatched, it just means that the stock is getting lower every time people buy them. And then once it gets to 0, the website automatically just cuts it off, so it doesn't send any more emails. And that's what's happened. So again, it's just a queue, effectively. If you're the first one to sign up for a notification, you're right at the front of the queue. If you're the 850th person to sign up for a notification, you're a bit further back. So it's, and you might not get to it because we only had, like I say, 5% of what we had on order. If we had, hundreds of thousands coming in, then that wouldn't have been a problem. But that's what we're doing. So if you didn't get that notification, there's nothing broken. It just means you were further down the queue. So apologies if you didn't manage to get that. So there you go. There's a few of the questions that we are getting asked, and hopefully that has given you a bit of an insight. I just thought it was important to explain why things happen. We're not just some faceless, huge organization that bad things happen, or it just seems like bad service and that we don't want to talk to you. We want to tell you about these things. And any of you that have phoned up, all of these questions would have been answered to you. Anyway, let's move on to some slightly better news, shall we? First of all, European customers, hello, how are you? After a dodgy start after Brexit, we're slowly getting there. So shipments are starting to get into Europe. We discovered what the problem was. One day we were able to send things to Europe. The next day, some things are no longer allowed in Europe. And it's not just a few things, it was 2,600 of our products. So not all of them for all the countries. So you might have one country that wouldn't allow 100 of the products that we sell for whatever reason. And you might have, I think Spain was the worst with over 1,000 products that we sell that they wouldn't allow in. And it's various reasons, some of them like animal products. So any of the feathers that you use for bubbles and stuff, then we're not allowed to send those anymore. Then we had things like plastic, so the plates have plastic in them, so some of the countries aren't allowing that anymore. So we fixed that, and now we have put on our website, if something is only available in the UK, if you're in Europe, please don't order it, because all it means is that it's going to go over to you. The customs guys are going to look at the commercial invoice or electronically do it and say, no, that's got to go back. It's going to come back to us. We're going to phone you up and say, listen, you ordered a UK thing. We'll ship it out to you again, but you've got to pay shipping again. And that's really what's going to happen. We try to catch it if we can, but it's a manual process at the moment, so we can't catch it every single time. But thankfully, touch wood, nobody has done that yet. We are working on functionality that will hopefully stop you being able to order anything that you're not allowed to order. But that's on its way. That's going to happen hopefully in the next couple of months. But yes, European things are starting to get there. Right now, the 12th of April, that is the date for shops opening again. Hopefully, fingers crossed, if all goes to plan. I have to respect Boris and the government for this decision, finally, that we're going to play it by ear. We're going to see how it goes, stages. If schools open up and the numbers start to do that, then the 12th of April is probably not going to happen. However, let's assume that it is. So shops will be opening again on the 12th of April. And I think the high street plays a very important part in our economy. We need to start getting things moving again. I mean, the goal of 21st of June? I just think to actually not have to socially distance, which is the goal, seems so alien to me. I mean, I really hope that is the case. I really, really do. I'm not a pessimist. I'm definitely an optimist, but I'm trying not to get my hopes up. But let's hope that at least the 12th of April, we will be able to get some shops open. So that's good news there. And the other good news, as I say, we've employed quite a few new people over the last year. I just wanted to welcome our new people from February. So let's see if I can remember this. We've got Jenny, we've got Jess, we've got Faye, we've got Bradley, and we've got Lauren. I remembered all 5 names. So yes, welcome to you guys. Now, the other good news is, I announced it the other week, is we are moving, and hopefully that is really going to help us with the level of service, being able to get things out quickly again. We're going to have more space. We're going to be able to have more people in the building at one time, more people working in the warehouse at one time, and hopefully we'll get back to that level of service that you experienced before COVID. Hopefully we'll get back to that before then, but once we're in the warehouse, then the new place, we will definitely be able to get to that level. So we've got a tentative date for moving. Basically what we want to do, we are going to give everybody Easter off. Although we still might work some of the bank holidays. I'm not too sure yet, but 4 days off, and then we're going to come back after Easter. We are going to get all the orders shipped out that we have, and then we are going to move to the new place. We've allowed 2 weeks, so effectively you have until the end of March to place an order, because we're going to stop orders on the website. There's no way we could continue to take orders for 2 weeks and not be getting them out the door to you. So that's what we're going to do. So if we don't want to do it, we don't want to have to close the doors, but we looked at it, we tried to figure out the logistics. Could we still operate from one unit while we're moving stuff to the other? There's just no way we could actually do it. So yes, for 2 weeks. If you do want to place an order before then, please do it before the end of March. And then, as I say, we'll get that out to you that first week of April, and then we will be moving. If we manage to get everything sorted, if we plan really well and there's no hiccups, then we might even be able to open earlier in that second week. But for now, just block out those first 2 weeks of April that you will not be able to buy from us. Sad face. Anyway, right now, talking of the move. Jeff Bezos, some of you might know Jeff Bezos. He is the guy that started Amazon, and I'm listening to an audiobook of his, and one of his big goals was, you know, to have a forklift in his business. This is when he was in a little business and there was just him and a few friends and his wife, and they were doing it, you know, packing books, because they only used to do books, of course, packing books on the floor and all of that sort of stuff. And they just thought, well, we've got a forklift, you know, what a goal that is. That's great. And I'm happy to say, 16 years in, we have our first forklift, and here it is. Of course, 16 years in, and Jeff Bezos was a multi-billionaire, so there's some distance to go. But anyway, we've got this forklift. It was delivered. It's a Toyota. I don't know what kind of Toyota it is, but it's a Toyota. It's 25 years old. 25 years old, but it's only got 8,000 hours on the clock. You say miles in cars, you say hours. I've learned a lot about forklifts. Anyway, 8,000 hours on the clock. It's electric, you plug it in, and it's a counterbalance one. So yeah, and that's about all I know about it. Anyway, it has been suggested that it needs a name. So that's what I want to make the question of the week. A bit of fun. What should our forklift truck be called? Leave your comments down below on Facebook and on YouTube. That's it from me this week. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you've not subscribed, please do. Just hit the subscribe button. Hit the little bell icon so you're notified every time we upload a new video. And while you're doing that, why don't you head over to Instagram and like us on there, or Facebook and like us on there. Do you like or follow? I always get confused, but you know what I mean. Head over to Facebook and Instagram and give us a follow like. Right, that's it. Thanks again for watching. Stay safe, stay happy. See you next week. Bye.